call. I don't think I need to probably go through and say that the way we do it is you raise your hand, we're calling you. I think everybody gets to talk. You know, we do need to kind of keep the meeting to not going past 9 or 10, something like that. And I thought maybe that I would give a little background. Well, can we go avoid all the rest of these things first?
I need to make an announcement that's
go
not
ahead.
on the agenda because it's kind of urgent. This is non-agendized items. We can't talk about it during the regular meeting because it's not on the agenda. John Ganaway from OC Parks has been meeting with Joanne and Connie about a large animal evacuation center, and where OC Parks thinks they might want to locate that is down on the field
Right next to the
at the elementary school, but at the end of the field closest to the Edison building and the Children's Center access road. And what he was thinking would be the best thing if they're over there, it would only be for emergencies when we have an emergency, but they would need a little road that came in from the Children's Center road to go in there and come back out, so they wouldn't have to go all the way to the school. And he wanted us to know that that's what they're thinking in the event that we might have a problem with that, we would need to address OC Parks.
My only concern is if there's children in the children's center and there's a large animal evacuation occurring at the same time. That could be.
He just wanted us to know, and he wants us to get with OC Parks on
I
it.
can answer that.
You know,
Tom,
yeah,
I
for
can
the
answer your
next week.
question.
Well, he wanted to know within the next week. That's what he asked for, but I told him we might have to have a special meeting to decide.
I can answer your question. The answer is that the rule is supposed to be that the kids get out first. In the case of something like that, the kids will be notified, the school will be notified, and the kids will go away first, and then they bring the animals in. However, with the driveway, the situation, the way it's proposed, we may not need to do that. But that would answer your question.
Okay, that was just a concern. Thank you.
Any other board or public input on anything not on the agenda now?
Yeah, one thing. I apologize if the email didn't display correctly. My husband told me that his was all messed up, so I apologize if it didn't display correctly on your computer. But that's all Greg's fault because he sent it to me that way.
I looked at the real agenda and I said, oh, it wasn't spelled that way.
So, I just forwarded, so if it came out wrong, I'm sorry, blame Greg. And sometimes I do send stuff out that's not an emergency, but this was so important that I thought it was relevant enough to send.
So a little background, Lisa.
Well, I wanted to just address that because I really think events should come from the SMRPD, from the MailChimp. I mean, it's one thing to ask me or Joanne or Phil, but all meeting stuff should come from SMRPD directly.
Well, that'd be really cool, except that our MailChimp has so few people that have signed up to it that for a topic that's really important, it's not going to somebody if it doesn't go from you two.
Greg and I talked about that today, actually.
So, I mean, unless we can beef up our MailChimp, but how many people are on SMRPD's normal distribution list?
It's 500 something. It's not
not small.
Joanne's
It's not
size,
small,
but it's
no,
not
it's not.
small.
Okay.
Well,
Anyway,
the other option should be, I mean, the agenda was spelled wrong. I mean, there's just things that were just incorrect. And then when I went to go on the website to find the agenda, it wasn't even posted on the website. Because I couldn't print out the way Joanne, it was attached. And I couldn't print out Debbie's thing, or I couldn't print out the minutes either. So both of those things need to be on the website.
so when I went on my copy, I just cut and pasted that thing in it.
I had to go to the Dropbox and sign up for an account, and then I got it. But it wasn't, you know, not everybody's.
It doesn't sound like it was an easy thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what you get from your volunteer labor that's unskilled.
No, it's not, that's not acceptable, Greg. I mean, because that kind
All
of
right,
stuff is
thank you for your
important.
advice, thanks, and that's it for today, okay, thanks, on that topic. All right, so, let me give you a little background of the Children's Center as I know it. Some of the rest of you have been here longer than me, so maybe you can help fill in. In 2005, or prior to 2005, the Children's Center had racked up like $65,000 worth of debt because they kept needing more money and the board kept giving them more money, and finally in 2005, the new board, I think, was in at that point, and they just said, you know, we can't do this anymore. And so the board told the Children's Center, this was long before any of us were on, that There's no more money. You either make it or you sink. That's it. Sink or swim. And that was the rule all the way up until last September. Unbeknownst to the board, because of the way it got reported and we're not financial geniuses, until last September, so for that whole prior school year, the Children's Center was spending all their cash in the bank. So they were far enough negative every month that the $1,000 a month, which we have historically gotten fundraisers, much of it due to Shay's group, some from other people, that they were spending an extra $1,000 a month in the hole, and we found out about it when Megan called and said, we need to make a work comp payment, and it's $3,000, and there's $30 in the bank account. So, us being the soft hearts we are, we're like, we're not closing the place. So we said, okay, the negative is $2,000 a month. Historically, fundraisers have brought in about $1,000 a month, so $12,000 a year. We said we'll front the rest of the money. We started the whole revitalization project. The place actually looks great. Lindy's done like a fantastic job. All the documentation is done right. Everything's like it ought to be. In the middle of that process, we got an inspection from the county, and we got a report back from them that said it was filthy. They can't use words like that if there isn't. You don't use that in a legal report if there isn't an issue. Luckily, I think because they saw what we had already done to the preschool building, they didn't shut us down, which they could have shut us down that day. So, and it was like the next weekend when we had our new cleaning company go in, and they just like, presto chango, all done. And that was after we'd sent people in to do some like intermediate cleaning. So if they had seen it before, I don't know what it would have looked like. We actually have before and after pictures, so if somebody wants to see them, you're welcome. So what we realized is that the way we were doing the budget wasn't working, because the idea had been the teachers and people will come and do the cleaning, and it just didn't work. They're busy, they were doing other things. Got worse and worse. So what we've done is we just come up with a budget for the next year based on real numbers. What does it really take to run it? And so there's a cleaning line which wasn't in there before. There's a gasoline line that wasn't in there before. So it added expenses that we haven't paid before. So that's kind of history. So here we are. We've paid about, instead of $1,000 a month, we've paid about $15,000, I think, to date.
18.6.
Oh, 18.6 from
So
September to today.
What is Lindy saying the real estimate is for what they're bringing in today versus what it costs to run it today?
We're going to get there later, but I can give you the answer right now if you want it. Okay, so the dirty numbers are, we billed $4,800 this month for February 1st.
February.
Unfortunately, not all the parents see fit to pay us the money, so we're a little behind in arrears, and there's some parents are catching up. They've had problems, so we can deal with that. But the problem is the real numbers that we're spending are, this is today's real numbers, $10,825 per month. That's our outflow. So since then, because we haven't even incorporated some of the expenses that Lindy said we really need to be spending on because the kids need more stuff, we've done something that the teachers weren't doing. We said, okay, now there's going to be one teacher from 7 to 1. There'll be one teacher from 1 to 6. And the reason we can do that is we don't have enough kids to go over the state mandate. We wouldn't even want to get there, but we don't have enough kids to bother. We'll get there on that part. But then we'll have, when the kids, somebody's driving the kids back and forth and picking them up, we'll have the preschool director cover that time. So we got rid of probably $1,000 a month in payroll salary expenses because we were able to do that. But it still leaves us in next year's budget at $10,870 a month. I'm sorry. It leaves us in the average of $11,000 a month in expenses. And that's her projected budget for next year if we add in the stuff that ought to be added in to make it, a real functioning school. mean, so she and I have been going over this, and Linda and I have been meeting for the last couple of weeks trying to figure out where we can cut anything else out at, but it kind of comes out to Lindy's budget's about there. We probably can get Lindy's budget, instead of $11,000 a month, came out to $135,000 for a year. We could probably get like $12,000 off of that. But we're still, effectively, we're still at this $6,000 a month negative, which is way more than the $2,000 that we all thought it was. And Linda and I, in the last week or two, well, we thought it was only like $37.70 a month negative, but we sat down with Megan, did the numbers, and we're really $6,100 a month negative. So, in a nutshell, that's the bad news. So, did you want to do, you got a quick comment, if you want to do Deborah's report?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment. Please understand that the tuition's coming from the children of the district. I talked to Megan, and she said we're sending out 13 invoices a month, and 2 of them are from downtown. We do have one from Tustin and one from Orange. But in our district, according to the latest census, we have 61 kids in this region that could partake in this. According to national statistics, about 50% of the kids of that age will attend preschool. Understand, we're not the only preschool in the area. There's a Montessori school, there's other preschools, and perhaps some parents would rather take their kid to a preschool near where they work or near grandma's house. So our gross number is 61, we're available approximately 30 kids, and we gotta split that with several other schools. So from a marketing standpoint, we just don't have the kids to
How
support
many
that.
kids are in that right now?
So,
How many of the 30 are we getting today?
We have about 12 to 15 that come, but the problem has been is very few of the parents are using it as a true preschool. A lot of the parents use it as a drop-off, my kid 1 day a week, and we could, something we may talk about tonight, we could probably do it way cheaper if we did it as not preschool, and wouldn't have trained teachers at the wages that they would be at, but then, and that's something that we could look at that maybe would drop our expenses quite a bit. In the back? Oh, I'm sorry.
I had a question. Okay, for the preschool, how many children are enrolled in the preschool as opposed to the after-school program?
The preschool has about, when you do the math, it comes out to 3.8 kids a day. So we have about 4 kids every day. Some day one day there were 7, and some days there's 2 or 3. So we're only serving 4 preschool kids a day.
So the majority of the community center is set for before school care and after school. Is that correct?
No. Can you tell them how it works?
I haven't been teaching there for a while, so I don't know, but I do know that the school-age program, the before-school program died when they closed our school a few years ago, which pretty much tipped the scale on this whole thing. And that's okay. And but the after-school program, it has dropped off significant as of lately, where parents have found other means to get their kids home from school and watching each other's kids after school.
So if the school was supported when the grade school was open, what's changed? Weren't all those kids in the district?
Demographic. The slide, if you look at the population.
Do you have the numbers from back then?
Yeah, there used to be like 125 kids, and now there's like 84, and then there's like 51. I mean, it's dropping off. And I think one of the things, and Shay brought it up, is that if you don't have a local school, if someone's thinking of relocating in the area, one of the things they look at is, oh gee, they got a local school, that's neat, my kid can go there. But if they're moving in the area and go, well, you can bus your kid downtown, they go, well, maybe we should move downtown.
It's not even that. The Orange Unified School District is already giving subsidized after-school care. So kids that are going down the hill in Orange, our taxes are already paying to subsidize child care down there. So the parents are taking advantage of it.
Yes. It's all it's a marketing problem.
So eventually we're going to get to Dr. Johnson's report, but Ron, go ahead.
So I asked a few questions, and I don't know if I completely understand yet. What are we going to do with the animals?
We're not
How
there
much
yet.
do we? How we can't possibly hold a vote tonight. We can't possibly, who's gonna commit tonight to take care of the animals? Who's gonna commit, how, do we know how much? If everybody goes away, what's our nut to crack each month? We don't know that.
Okay, I forgot something else I wanted to tell everybody. Because we're a public agency, the agenda notice had to go out the way it is, because we're a public agency. You know, we didn't want to alarm everybody. I would have, if I had talked with Joanne before she sent it out, I would have had her rephrase the stuff she put at the top of her thing to not scare everybody, but that stuff all came out of the report. So maybe it was good it was there because it got everybody to look
That's
at
the way I
it
did
and
it.
read
The
it.
header, that's why I kept it. Sorry to interrupt.
In front.
Hi, I'm Sibel. Been around the Children's Centre for quite a few years, 15 years actually. A couple of points that I do know for a fact. Chapman Hills Elementary does have a CDC on it, which is where all of our kids go now to school, and the other kids go the other way to school down in Trabuco. It's actually the school that's there, the after school care program, is a privately owned CDC, right? So they're all for-profit CDCs. So I don't know where the tax dollar thing comes from. I personally don't know about that, but I do know quite a bit about CDC, as that's where our old director now works in the CDC, which is running at Chapman Hills, where my kids go. Other point is the safety concern. When my kid ever has to catch the bus home, and if we can't get there for some reason, to meet them at the school, because that's where they drop them off, so they don't have to do the big Majeska route, which is how the Silverado kids, so a lot of Silverado kids book off the bus there, especially when she's in kindergarten. She can't sit on the bus that long without probably having to have a pee, so to speak, pardon the language. So anyway, she would get off there, and here's the thing. No matter what, there was somebody that was opening that gate for the bus from the up school, no matter whether or not my kid was booked in that day, that would not leave my child standing on the side of the road wondering who was going to pick him up. Now, I know that's my responsibility as a parent, but things happen on that Santiago Canyon quite often where we have to go all the way around the back loop, and we might be 40 minutes late because we're one road in, one road out. So before we make any rash judgments about profitability, point blank, I think it's a community service that we're providing up there, and I think we should be looking at it as a community service. And that's it. So just 2 safety issues and 1 tax issue. Sorry. Shutting up now.
In the back.
I think everybody's in agreement of what Shay's saying. Once the school closed, then the business went away, because at that time, the kids could go, the parents could continue working, they didn't have to be there, they went right straight across to the children's center. It doesn't look like things are going to pick up. Why, with so few kids, would it do any good to move them here and forget about that up there?
Well, I mean, that's something we could think about, but that place already exists. And
So does this, and wouldn't this be cheaper?
Will they get off the school
no, we don't
bus
pay
early?
anything there.
Yeah, it's free.
I think if we pay anything to the county, it's $1 a year. I think they don't actually charge us.
And you get your water for free.
Our expenses are running the actual
Outside expense, yeah,
school.
I'm aware of that.
So,
But this is in better shape.
well, not anymore. You gotta go see it.
It's nice, Mike.
I have.
It's great.
And
I
then
guess
we
once-
just got somebody
weeks
who's
ago.
donated to do the siding on the after-school building, so it's all gonna be, I mean, it's gonna be as nicer than this when we're done.
And if we move the operation here, the expenses come with it.
Yeah.
And it's being used all the time, and that's going to give wear and tear.
Well, the other thing about there is, when the county moves the library there, that was kind of something we were looking forward to.
That should
Yeah.
That would be a cool thing too, but how many months can we afford that figure? That's the scary part.
Here's the thing with that, it's
You
gonna be a
didn't
while.
raise your hand, Sheila. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Kelly Roberts, and one of the teachers. I'm speaking on behalf of the staff at the Children's Center tonight. I prepared a statement, and if now is an okay time, I'd like to share it with you for your consideration. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, of the Silverado Majeska Recreation and Parks Department for supporting the Silverado Children's Center in so many ways, financially, physically, and collaboratively. I've been teaching at SEC since May of 2012. Through my study in child development, I've had the opportunity to observe several preschool and after-school programs. As many Canyon inhabitants know, the outdoor environment here is probably the biggest draw for people. This is likewise for the Children's Center. The most valuable classroom we have is our outdoor classroom, in which children see the majestic soaring pine trees, learning to sort, paint, and create with pine cones, pine needles, and bark. The many birds of prey that some people can go a lifetime without ever seeing can be viewed daily from our play yard. The discovery of owl pellets, frogs, lizards, and the occasional snake instill a feeling of wonderment and love for our community, the one which we all want to preserve. In every single observation of each preschool site that I visited, the two things they had in common were that they had to be NAEYC accredited for my teachers' requirements, and they all spent a maximum of 30 minutes outdoors each day. Friends, this is a travesty for young children. The outdoor learning environment carries a wealth of information that the classroom can never compare to. Children need to have concrete experiences on which to build their understanding of the world. There is nothing more concrete than being in the world in its natural state. One cannot claim to know an oak tree by only seeing a picture of it in a book. Unless you've stepped on an oak leaf in bare feet, or played in the shade of an oak forest, or climbed one, you cannot know an oak tree. So who will be there to protect our oak forest when we are gone? I have a daughter in 4th grade at Trabuco. I know her friends, the children that went through our program. They are some of the brightest children in the class. Maybe they have good genes, or maybe they went through an amazing preschool program that taught them creative expression, opening the neural pathways of brain development, not by stifling their ideas, but expanding them. What do we need at the Children's Center? iPads? No. Computers? No. A bigger TV? No. Absolutely not. Children are inundated with technology. We live in an era of obesity and type 2 diabetes in children. Kids in many communities cannot walk out their front door without their parents watching every move. In our play space, kids can run, whereas in other schools, kids cannot run. In our play space, kids can climb a tree or a dirt hill or build a fort, and it is an accomplishment, not a crime. Our curriculum has to begin with the basis of understanding the world that we live in. Of course, we teach counting. We teach the ABCs and reading. Most important, however, we teach communication skills, eye contact, self-awareness, expression, openings for creativity, and a love for these precious canyons. I deeply and emphatically ask that you continue to help us brainstorm in ways that we can continue this unique learning environment, and work with us to emphasize the positive and maximize the output to the knowledge of our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. I wanted to give you, actually I probably should read Deborah's report. I think, has everybody had a chance to read it on the Dropbox or see the report?
Deborah Johnson.
Oh, she's written another report for the Children's Center.
I'll tell you, and I'm not here to support or defend Deborah's report. I am here just to tell you what it says and give you the information and the facts. About a year ago, I was on the advisory board of the Silverado Children's Center with Deborah, and I said, you know, when she was talking about the Children's Center and the issues that were going on, I said, you know, we can do this. We can really build the Children's Center and make it work, and I really believed in it. And who knows? I mean, I'm not here even. I haven't even made any decisions myself. I'm just here giving you the information. So I want you to first know that. It would be the hardest thing for me to do, to say I want to close it and give up on the Children's Center, because, you know, it would. I agree with the last speaker. So with that, I will read you Deborah's report, because I think that she is the expert, and we did depend on her. And about in September, she did a report that went through 9/15 of 13, And I'll read that report first. I was not privy to that report at the time, but I did get that report last month, along with another report that Deborah did, which was through December of 2013, which I'll also read you those results. I was going to present the report to the board at the last meeting, but I didn't feel like I could present it because there was some information that Lindy had given me that was a little bit contradictory to what was in the report. But after meeting with Greg and talking to Megan, Deborah's report is valid and it speaks for itself, basically. So I think there are tough decisions that we have to make as a community. I think it's up to the community to decide how they want to spend their money and their tax dollars. And if they want to spend it on this and the deficit. So with that, it's my own 2 cents. I'll give you Deborah's read on it. She is very qualified and the report is very thorough and very good. The Silverado Children's Center attendance analysis as of 9/15/13 by Deborah Johnson, PhD ad hoc committee member. The Silverado Children's Center currently serves 13 preschoolers and 11, I believe it's 11, school-age students in its child care program, or a total of 24 children. The average child in either group attends an average of 2.4 days per week. Preschool hours are from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. School-age hours are from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. An additional 5 children receive transportation from Trabuco Elementary back to the Canyons after school. The breakdown by number of days is, and she gives the breakdown, number of days attended per week, 5 days, 1 preschooler, and 3 school-agers for a total of 4. 4 days per week, 1 preschooler, 0 school-agers for a total of 1. 3 days a week, 3 preschoolers, 0 school-agers for a total of 3. 2 days a week, 5 preschoolers, 3 school-agers for a total of 8. And 1 day a week, 3 preschoolers, 5 school-agers for a total of 8. By day of the week, the counts are preschool age. On Monday we have 7, Tuesday 5, Wednesday 8, Thursday 5, Friday 6. Unknown 1. School age, Monday 5, Tuesday 3, Wednesday 5, Thursday 3, Friday 3, and unknown 8. Total on Monday is 12, Tuesday 8, Wednesday 13, Thursday 8, Friday 9, and unknown 9. Most of the unknown days are for school-agers who attend only 1 day a week. Based on current enrollment contracts, projected monthly revenues are preschool age, monthly tuition $4,598, 0 on the transportation, for a total of $4,598. School age $1,765, $500 for monthly transportation, for a monthly total of $2,265. And for a total of monthly tuition, $6,363, monthly transportation $500, for a total of $6,863. In the school age group, 1 child's family is more than $2,000 in arrears. The family will receive a notice that unless a deficit is paid promptly, the child will no longer be able to attend the center. Their monthly tuition was $350, reducing the school age revenue to $1,765. In addition to the above revenue, in August and September, the center receives registration fees. This year, $1,025 was billed and $275 was collected. Not all families were billed appropriately, and some families thought the registration increases to $100 for preschoolers and $75 for school-agers were unfair and refused to pay. To date, families have been billed $6,713 for tuition. The total received has been $4,098, or 61%. Unpaid invoices totaled around $7,000 to $8,000, with one family owing $2,322 and another $1,409. From July 2012 to June 2013, tuition income averaged $7,789, There's a typo. More than projected for 2013-14. Salaries and other expenses averaged $9,717 per month.
What she's saying is, in 2012-13 school year, our tuition averaged almost $7,800 a month.
Oh, or
And it's
about.
down $1,000 in
Right.
2013 and 14.
Yeah. Okay, the deficit of about $2,000 per month or $1,200 per year was made up by fundraisers of about $5,745 and other income $6,943, including a hefty insurance settlement after the theft. That was when we had the school theft. That was money that we got from our insurance. Given the reduction in the number of children served and in their reduced hours in 2013 and 14, it is uncertain how the center will balance tuition revenue with salary and payroll costs. So that was September's report. That report went to some real estate people in the area to try to get them to solicit more children in the area, to try to get them to support our children's center. And then she goes on to prepare another report, which Greg asked her to prepare, and it's titled The Silverado Children's Center Status Through December 2013. And it says, over the past 4 years, enrollment has decreased about 33%. In August 2010, a total of 31 children were enrolled. In August 2013, only 20 children attended the center. Significant decreases occurred during 2012 and 13 fiscal year. In January 2014, the enrollment consisted of 7 preschoolers, this is to your question, Debbie, 6 after-school elementary students, and 7 drop-in kids whose attendance varied considerably. Many of the preschool and elementary students attended only 1 or 2 days a week. She has a table below which documents the income and expenses from September through December, and the total income for September, October, November, and December of 2013 was $36,930.68. The total expenses were $40,445.75 for a deficit of $3,515.07. The Silverado Children's Center has been kept afloat by transfers totaling $11,500 from the SMRPD since September 1st of 2013. Now remember, this report only goes through December of 2013. So Tom's number shows the total today. These funds are on the Silverado Children's Center balance sheet as a note loan to the SMRPD. I might also mention that there's another note on the Children's Center balance sheet of $65,000 from 1996 to 2005. Of the $11,500, about $2,000 has been used for repairs. The balance, about $8,000, was used for operating expense, including paying the interim director's salary. It has allowed Silverado Children's Center to have a few $1,000s in the bank. At the end of December, this amount amounted to $3,738. It is my understanding that at least another $3,000 to $4,000 was transferred in January, which Tom has the numbers. Gifts to the Silverado Children's Center since September included $5,000 from the Horowitz Memorial Foundation, $715 from Canyon Lane Conservation Fund, and $1,500 from the Inter-Canyon League's proceeds from the Silverado County Fair. No other donations have been recorded. In January 2014, income from tuition will be $5,540, which is less than what is needed to pay teachers and bare bones operation expenses. Further, reducing the income will be the relatively high default rate in tuition payments. As of January 20th, outstanding balances more than 30 days past due amounted to $2,747. Since then, two children, I believe, have dropped out of the program. Points to think about. In the past few years, the Silverado Children's Center survived by raising $10,000 a year from fundraisers. These events involved a tremendous amount of work and time. The closure of the school has already impacted the community. Demographics have shifted upwards. Families with school-aged children are not moving in. It is unlikely that the Canyons have the demographic base to support a full-time children's center. A lease agreement recently signed with the County of Orange provides that the property reverts to the county if it no longer serves the current use. That I have to say, we did take a look at the lease, and it states that that particular lease will be used for either the children's center or whatever use the SMRPD deems appropriate. So we're working on that. SMRPD may want to think about negotiating with the county an alternative to operating a children's center on the property. Some interesting points might be, current plans for the elementary school do not include a full-time community meeting room. SMRPD might want to consider using the school-age building as a community center meeting room. The building could also provide office space for SMRPD. Silverado Children's Center has long been thought of as a good place for a community garden. The buildings would provide access to washrooms and to tool storage. The property's assets include 2 really nice playgrounds. SMRPD could consider using the preschool building for children's activities, including party rentals, after-school programs, and a summer program. These would not be under child care licensing, which is where the expenses are. So that concludes her report, and we did verify her numbers. They were all accurate. And actually, the reason why we called this meeting as a special meeting is because we did lose 2 people, and the numbers are just getting a little bit worse, so we wanted to inform the community. Connie?
Excoriate is the word that comes to mind.
Sorry.
Love you both. Actually, I love everybody in there. I'm going to start there. But I'm really, really, really unhappy. I can't tell you how unhappy I am. The notice given on this meeting was minuscule. I am sure we would have a packed room if you'd had the decency to set it up with more than 48 hours notice. And I am not happy. And I will fully support and work, and I think you all know that I am willing to put my, I'm willing to put my efforts in to make something happen. But this was inappropriate. There's been a few things lately you guys have done that have been way beyond the pale. This is another one. This should not be and must not be decided. This may be a really great informational meeting. You must not go forward without more community notice. That would be totally inappropriate. That would be totally, I think you'll find there are those of us willing to fight.
So you missed the part at the start of the meeting where we talked about why it had to be listed this way on the agenda, so that we could bring it up and talk about it.
Okay, what I'm saying is 48-hour notice is not satisfactory, is not suitable.
And yes, I missed that because I had to work late, and I came as soon as I could get here. You need to do better by people. So please try not to insult people by saying you missed the part at the beginning, okay? I care deeply. I got here as soon as I could.
But I don't think anybody's saying that, I don't think anybody's decided to make a decision.
No, you are.
That's a relief.
Good.
Thank you.
Perfect.
But that was not clear from anything I have
Been
seen
listening
thus
to.
far. And I think you need more community input, and I am willing to step up and try to do further outreach that I thought should have been accomplished a while back. But I would like to, I can't think of the word I want and stay out of expletives. Okay. Keno-headed, just clobbers your vocabulary. I would like to let you know how firmly myself and other people want to support the Children's Center, and how important it is that you not pull this 3-day, hey everybody, goodbye. there will
It's
be
happened before.
consequences.
It's happened before, we've got long memories. Judy Lockridge was from off the property from this sort of behaviour.
Well, we couldn't do that anyway.
Well, it was
Title
done.
22 requires much more than that,
Whilst we appreciate that, we
and
didn't think it could be done last time, and it was.
you have to have
I
a
know the
plan.
laws. Go on,
There has
Heather.
to be
We know the
certain
laws.
number of days' notice,
We do know that.
so that
I don't,
it's-
so.
I don't know that either.
All right, yeah, but things have happened before where there's been things in place, so.
I guess Shay knows who I am. My name's Peter Bollinger. We went through this dance about 10 years ago.
More than, yeah,
Last time we had a comparable meeting to this, had like 500 people in here.
500 people.
So the level of feeling in the community about the community centre, about the children's centre is fairly high. A couple of things just broadly on what I've heard tonight. The school used to be the emergency preparedness site, right, in case of fires, earthquakes, stuff like that. When that went, the up school became that, right, or that would be the whole thing. If that goes, what happens in that situation, right? Where does the community?
Yeah, our plan is that we're not gonna give that property away.
So we'll always be there for that, okay. But there will be no one there, or you will have staff there.
not necessarily, that's not what that's not what we would even entertain.
Second thing, you know, I get what Deborah Johnson's on about. Same report,
Exactly.
10 years down the track, exactly the same thing. And I get that a bunch of the community regards the children's centre as like a drain on the things that they could be doing, you know, otherwise. But the fact of the matter is that maintaining this place and maintaining that place is the only actual responsibility you guys have. So instead of thinking of it as a drain, that if it's not profitable you have to get rid of it, the onus should be on you guys to be thinking of how you can make it work. Because it is your responsibility to make that work as a community centre facility for children of the community.
Actually, it's not. The Children's Center is a private enterprise district. The board is, that means its own little private business. It's supposed to run itself. The board has actually been actively asked to not be involved in it.
No, I know, I was responsible for that. We got it turned into a 401c3. And one of your board members scotched that.
I'm going to take exception to both of you on behalf of the board, and I don't know if they'll agree with me, but this isn't something that's been done willy-nilly. Where have you been? I'm not picking on you, I'm sorry.
No, bring it,
stop.
bring it, because I'm so ready, I can't tell you how ready I am.
Well, let me tell you how mad I am. Because since September, I can't be, I have to say nice things.
Yes, you do.
I do. So since September, I've been up here touting the revitalization project. In September, we thought it would only take 2 full-time kids to break even. We would be, in fact, if we got 2 kids, we would have had a positive. Since then, we've had 2 more kids who, they weren't some of our, I mean, they came multiple. It's been at every meeting.
Okay.
It's been, have you heard all the stuff that we've done there? The Petersons went and busted their behinds to paint it. Cressa Cruzen took all these kids, she brought them from.
That's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about specifically.
Well, okay, no,
Okay,
stop for
can
a
we not
second,
turn
'cause
into a back and forth, maybe?
I need to respond to Peter a little bit. It's a private enterprise district. It's not up to us to run it. It's supposed to run itself. That's why we've had directors. We've obviously not had the best directors, but I don't even want to say that because they've worked their behinds off. The kids aren't there now.
It's a
Yeah,
recession.
I see enrollments are down, that's clear. And like you say, and you've identified it, and credit to you, it doesn't take much to turn it around. But the notion of particularly killing it and turning it into a different type of community resource, that really burns me actually, because that was the motivation behind what was going on with it the first time around, right? Same people involved in it. So, you know, and I get, and the fact that people are busting their asses to keep it going should tell you something, right? They're not busting their asses to keep this place going.
Okay, so who's busting their asses?
Yeah, the Petersons, and they were last time too.
I've been there.
Yeah.
We've hired.
I'm the owner.
Yeah, dude, when you walk up the stairs there,
When
I
you
made
walk
all
up
of
the
that.
stairs, he did. He said in Europe,
Okay,
it's
Okay.
have some more.
We've been around. The point is that we got a lot of our kids from Portola on the drive-through, and we used to actively go down there and hang outside the school and hand out flyers when Judy Lockridge used to be in charge when I was actively involved with my child there, and we had the enrollment to 64 kids, right? So we were like going gangbusters last time the Dr. Debbie Johnson's report and everything came in when we had the 501c3. So we've done this dance before, we're well aware with it, we're not sledging you, but we do know what it takes to turn around. And I think we've also got to remember, we have 2 kids up here in this community. I can't tell you how expensive it is living up here, shipping our kids downtown all the time. There is a recession going on. It doesn't hit us too much because we're self-employed, but we know how many people are losing their jobs, and we know the desperation of parents, right? So this is a community, all right? And it needs to be, and the littlest members of the community need to be supported. And if it means we have to go down and hit those schools at Portola Hills with handouts, because there's tons of parents that drive that way to work, to the 241, then that's what we do. It's just as good.
In the back.
Hi.
No, not you, Janet, back
Oh,
farther,
I'm
sorry.
I have a question. You guys were coming out with your data and your statistics and all your facts. I just wanted to know if you gathered your facts for similar community centers that do provide for the
Right.
children, and where are we lacking?
Well, when I talked to licensing, I said, you know, here's where we are,
If you
what
market
can we
it.
do? And they said, well, you're not alone. They go, we've had other children's centers closing, and they said part of it is there's just a drop in kids in that age group now. And it's gonna be like 2 years or 4 years before that upswing happens, and that's where we're at. That's what it appears to me that we're at. Janet, you're next.
So, thank you. I think maybe it's perception more than reality.
That's usually how it is.
Yes, the way that this notice went out. So I am tremendously relieved that you're not going to make a decision tonight, first of all. Because there's so much good information in that report, it would be a shame if the full community didn't get to see it. So that's what I would just urge you to share that report. The second thing is
What good information in the report?
all of it, all the
Well, I mean,
numbers.
it's not positive, it's good information, but
Oh,
it's
I'm
not
sorry.
positive information.
It's detailed, comprehensive information, not happy. It's a sobering report.
Yeah.
And I would like us to take the time, it's a grim report, to take the time as a community to absorb it and consider it. Since I've been coming to, these meetings, and I know how hard Ron and Bonnie Smith worked and other people many moons ago on the community center, this has been a problem. What I was so heartened by, Greg, I think it was you and a wonderful older woman wrote a letter several months back arguing so in such articulate fashion for the community center. You recognized that and the board agreed to put money in. To me, I would so much rather have my public dollars, my tax dollars that are sent to the Parks Board, put into our community's children than nearly anything else I can think of in terms of my tax dollars. So I feel like maybe it's time to end, this Pyrrhic, terrible, effort by you guys and yes, many, many, many people through the generations in the canyons, and make this, a core part of what the Parks Board monies go for and what the responsibility is in a positive way. Yes, spend the $20,000 a year from the funds that we do get from the county. Yes, have a cost of living increase every once in a while. Obviously, the people who work there are never going to be doing this to become wealthy. But and you guys have been working so hard on this from what I can tell. That's what really threw me. I couldn't follow the bouncing ball. It's like, okay,
Janet,
less than a month ago, let me just finish.
Okay.
You were talking about all the great volunteer activities, and then I get this thing out of the blue and admittedly crazy weekly at work, and I was like, okay, I just can't follow it.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
why. We thought it was $20,000 a year.
And
because about a year ago, we were getting all the reports, and Deborah pointed this out, and I think this is kind of what started it. We were getting the reports based on an accrual-based accounting system. And so we really couldn't see the true numbers, but that $20,000 became elucidated, and it's now like $72,000 a
For a
year.
year it would cost.
Yeah,
Negative.
negative, so we've gotta
That's
figure
the
out, we were
negative.
willing to put 20,000 in.
Wait, I'm confused
Yeah, I'd
right
like to
there.
see that breakdown.
Yeah,
That old chestnut
there's
was
some
there
very
too.
funky numbers in the
Yeah.
historical record of
You got the
that.
same count.
Okay,
No, not yet.
hold on, yeah.
Okay, everybody, we need to get it out, because everybody needs to get it, and I
Right,
want everybody to
needs
get
to
it.
know,
I'd
I
love
mean,
to see it.
So what would it take, if we know, to operate the the children's center?
Okay, we thought, when we first
No, not what we thought, but what would it take?
no, that's what it would take. We
What
have
would
to
it
know.
take?
$1,000 a month.
It's on the board, yeah.
$6,000 a month.
$6,100 a month is what we're losing.
Unless there's a change
and we could
in
get
the
more
pot.
kids.
And what's the
So
budget
six
for the
thousand,
So right
multiply
now,
it
100,000.
times
12.
12.
Got it.
Plus, wait, plus, we're not even talking about, we're just talking about maintenance. There are things that we need to do, still need to do for improvement of the children's center too.
But the big
So-
number is 72, and our annual budget is, our annual income is 90,000 dollars.
Right,
Our
our
total,
district.
our total district income is 90, and we're looking at, we would have to put in 72 to maintain the children's center.
So if we can get money,
And we only
if
figured that
somebody
out,
can
we
find
only
some
figured that out in the
donations.
last week. That's why you
And you've
got the
got
notice.
that house accrual, how does that,
How
I
do
mean,
you
how do you
notice?
get those numbers, because is that in,
We switched to cash. It was
Yeah.
accrual, and it was
Yeah.
like, we're not smart enough to, we're
Well,
not maybe as good at business, so
we get
we
it.
switched it to cash, and now we're like,
So you're paying
Holy smokes.
$7,200 on top of what's coming in revenue
No,
to run that
61.
children's centre?
6147.
So you're paying 61.47, so I don't have my long distances on top of what's coming in, you're booting in that every month. And you've got the actual numbers there
Yes.
that you
What
can
are
show
you-
me?
you're
What are you
spending it
buying
on?
it on? What are you spending it on?
oh my gosh, well,
Have you got a copy of that for the place?
Salaries, insurance,
We're
workers'
gonna
Yeah.
find
Oh, I
that
know
notes
where
on
all
it.
the
I mean,
money,
it's
do
like.
I get one of those?
we've
I'll
got,
get
oh
the
yeah,
notes
wait a
on
minute.
it.
So, can I
they're
just
not
make
buying
one
it.
other money point, another point, and then I'll cede the floor? You mentioned something about 10-year-old debt or something, a note.
No, that's all fast, don't worry.
Right, I was gonna say, can you please just remove that and consider that water under the bridge, so that if something has to be done immediately, that can I just finish that 401c3 doesn't get saddled with that? Thank you.
Yeah, we can't get rid of that number, it stays in the books, but nothing's gonna happen with it.
Well, if
Yeah.
worst case scenario happens and you have to dissolve things, I'm asking
gone.
that you please
No, it would be
make
gone then.
sure that that is gone.
Yeah, it
Okay.
would be.
But hopefully it won't come to
How
that.
can you make that go away? You've given the money to an entity, and
We
they
are.
supposedly they were making money at that point?
It's a bad loan, you write it off.
No, but how long?
Yeah, exactly, you don't keep on giving them more money, do you?
No, if
No,
someone
we
happened
don't.
to the children.
You don't give them, if I gave you
Written off as a bad
$65,000, you didn't pay me
Yeah,
back.
okay, wait, all comments
I
are
wouldn't give any
directed
more
out
money.
here. Thank you, Mark,
Mike.
for raising your hand and being recognized before
Well,
you
I'm
blurted
raising
it
my hand,
out.
but everybody else is talking and they're not
No,
calling.
stop, you're not recognized, okay? So
Well, thank
Tim,
you,
pardon me?
thank you,
You're welcome, but I will recognize you next because you're the only hand up.
thank you.
So Tim, in the past, up until 2005, the district was funding them, and the money had to be accounted for somewhere, so it's sitting in our books as payable by the Children's Center. If the Children's Center started making money, they could gradually pay that back and pay it off. If the Children's Center was completely dissolved and stopped, that money is gone, that goes away. I don't know how it goes away, accountant, some magic. But if we can keep the Children's Center going and we make money, that money could eventually come back to the district. Yeah. And it,
Yeah, but the way I heard is that you want it to go away, but you can't make it go away until the Children's Center goes away.
Exactly.
We're trying to keep the Children's Center alive.
Exactly.
As long as they don't go bankrupt, then it's still a viable debt.
yeah,
That hasn't been even paid any interest payment on for 10 years.
they've had no money to pay it, yeah.
Even when times were good and the school was open and there were 60 kids, they didn't pay any money.
There were no,
That-
we don't
That's
believe,
when they generated the debt,
yeah.
I think. Do you remember that?
No.
And this is, this is
This is
some,
accrual accounting.
this is some retroactive accounting
Accounting.
on behalf of Linda May,
Linda
previous
May.
board member.
Doctor.
That money didn't exist
Yeah.
before that.
We have
It was
all
never a
the
debt.
It was accrual.
This was
Yeah.
stuff that, it was just
It was a
the
way of
amount
writing off money.
That's
that
kind of
SMRPD
minutiae
had
that I'd
used.
like to talk with you guys more about, but.
We have all of that.
Okay.
But this was just an amount that the SMRPD had used to run the children's centre. This is before it was separate, right? Before we went through the separation and the 401c3 and all that stuff. So basically, 1 minute it was fine and it was on a cash basis, and you needed to make, you were $900 off, you were $400 down. Next meeting was $63,000 or $48,000 or whatever.
But that doesn't help us for today, so.
So what I'm saying is it's not a debt that you need to think about or
Michael.
Okay, thank you, sir. As a former treasurer of the SMRPD, I can tell you exactly what that.
Oh, but we don't want to know about that, doesn't help us
No,
tonight.
not now, not now, okay?
Yeah, not now.
Okay, but I have that information, okay? And I just wanted to say, under President Greg Bates, the SMRPD is taking flack. I've heard it. Under former President Ron Shepton, the SMRPD is taking flack over the Children's Center. Under the president before that, Bob Hunt, it's taken flack. This has been going on for like 12 years now. I used to sit up there, and I was one of the people that had to take this flack. And I just wanted to thank the SMRPD, instead of throwing bricks at you, for all the support that you've given. I've been there myself. I've helped clean that place up. My former wife's helped clean that place up. We've raised money. I've been involved with fundraisers. The SMRPD has used all kinds of taxpayer money to support that place. It's like close to $100,000 now. The place is still open, it's still operating, and all you guys do is get a bunch of crap. So I just want to thank you very much for being there and keeping the place open for all these years. It's 2014 and it's still open. So nobody ever thanks you for that. Thank you very much for keeping the Silverado Children's Center open all these years.
And if
And
I
for
knew you'd
paying
say that, I
attention.
would have let you talk earlier. Okay, so.
Thank you.
Anything
All
different,
of you.
Connie?
Yeah,
Volunteer.
Peter?
Peter?
no, Sibel.
Sorry.
Sibel talked about the brochures, and I have thought that was an excellent idea. With a little bit of warning, if I would have had any notion that we were this disparate, I would be happy to be a person that goes to these schools. If SMRPD will pay for the printing, I can give you labor, not time. I already take care of some of their animal issues. I will be happy to be one of the people that tries to increase your enrollment and tries to make this a positive move and tries to pitch in. You will find me your best friend, and I will carry the load and I will carry the water. Play vulture with it. We've got 2 community centers, and I think you will find a lot of people in the canyon extremely resistant to that idea.
Which idea?
About making it anything else. We lost our water district, we lost our school. They're tearing our community apart piece at a time. It's one of the last vestiges we have of being Silverado Canyon. It is a gem in the hills, and with a little bit of help and a little bit of extra marketing, I think we can pull this around. We need a little time, a little more warning would have been lovely.
Tom's been holding his horses, so we'll let Tom talk.
Okay, I want to address a couple things. First of all, Connie, thank you. I understand that the community has been involved in trying to support and promote the Children's Center. Shay has done an excellent job. She's done a lot of things. In fact, one of the events was the Orange Circle Street Fair. She was selling root beer floats, trying to promote the community. Over the years, we've had promotional events, we've had open houses, Parents' Days, Chili Cook-Off, Silverado Country Fair, Christmas in the Canyons, Heritage Day in Lake Forest, Shay's Root Beer Float Deal. We've got ads running in the directory, we had ads in the Christmas in the Canyons paper, we've had ads in the Century. Amy said, gee, if we just had a better sign, we could attract people that are driving down the road. I designed a sign, you put up a sign, it didn't do any good. My point is, there's only so many kids out here. There's only so many, there's no matter how many flyers, how much money you spend on printing and on ads, you're only gonna get what's there. But, there's good news. Although this meeting is small, and people have talked about we need to involve the community, that's exactly what the action that the board took. If you were at the last meeting, I presented a marketing proposal of which we've completed the first phase, which is called financial sustainability. We've taken a look at the numbers to determine where we are. We didn't know where we are. We just found all that out recently. We had some different numbers. The second phase of the marketing plan that I put out is to do a marketing survey. Now, the marketing survey, I've talked to an independent marketing research company, and we're talking about doing a mail survey to all of the addresses in the area. Not just getting the people that are in the room or people that show up for events. Every household that's got a mailing address would get a survey. It would be a multiple choice survey, there would be questions. What we're seeking from the community is, okay, we have this diamond in the rough. We have this facility. It has been operated as a children's center, although it's not doing well as a children's center. Perhaps we can make it a multiple use facility. Perhaps there can be other things there, whether it be daycare, a community garden. There's a lot of different ideas. We need to go to the community, find out from the community what those ideas are. The board will then explore what the possibilities of implementing those ideas so we can utilize that service, that facility. It may include, well, part of it may be a daycare center, a children's center, preschool. It may be part of the mix, but we don't know until we go out and find out what the community wants, explore what the financial aspects of implementing this is, and then putting something together. And that can happen very quickly. Connie, you have a question?
I'm trying to frame this carefully. I am very concerned at anything you guys send out. I want to see it before you send it out, and I want a chance to talk about it, because the captain was sober tonight, could end up with that, like, well, you guys, this is costing us crap, and we could have this. I do not want your marketing and your poll question to say, oh, well, everybody wants this, when you didn't actually say, here's what it is. So before you send it out, it should be sent out in the next whatever meeting you want to call. We should have a chance to comment on it and have some approval or disapproval on it.
Well,
Fair enough.
we are a management board, and we have a right to make decisions based on our. Unlike, obviously, I didn't see Barack Obama send me a survey and ask me if I liked Obamacare before he implemented it.
Yeah, but
So-
you've got to catch up with the rest of the civil
Oh, that's so funny.
We have a professional marketing service that is going to work with the board.
Yeah.
The board can make decisions on what questions they would like to see on this survey.
Be very careful about this question.
You know, this has been, pardon me, sorry, hand up. Okay, so, this has been going on since I moved in here 15 years ago, which I know is still a newbie, but Dick, my next door neighbour, said once you're here for 10 years, you're considered a local. So I sort of, and I'm an American, so here it is, right? This is now becoming an L, and I don't mean to sound like an age just because I'm 50, right? So I'm up there with you. I got my AARP card the other day, or whatever you call it. So why are we sitting here sending out a survey to a place that closed down a school which was feeding the up school and vice versa? When we had that, well, the up school was getting the kids from Portola, and they were saying, man, this place is killer up here, I love it. Let's put our kid in Silverado school. So we were having this feeding situation, right, which was happening, and then, anyway, hell in a handcart, not going back there. But the point is that the battle that was happening all these years ago for the people that weren't there with their little kids fighting for it, like we were in the trenches, was that it was an ageist thing, right? That older people in the community were not interested in a children's centre and did not want their tax dollars to be spent there. Now that's okay, that's just their right. But the point is that in a community, you don't always get what you want. We have now a community that is built without children pretty much. There's very few kids here anymore, but that doesn't mean they don't have the right to be here. So whilst we're sending out a survey, asking every household what you want, remember, very few of these, there are no other kids except for one now that just moved in on my street. That's it. So, except for us. So we can't really ask a community, it's like walking into a red state and saying, I want to vote blue, if you want to bring your Obamacare into it. We can't ask a community that's already further down the track that's interested in brown bagging to be interested in 2.5-year-olds. You know what I mean? So I think that it's really nice to look out to the community and be inclusive, but I think that as a society we have to be civil in so much as that we have to include the people that can't speak for themselves, and we have to include everybody. And if it's going to take us some income, and look, the Children's Centre's been running at a loss. The only time it ran out of a profit was when times were good and the economy was booming, right? It's hard to keep a Children's Centre going. Even, can I just say one more thing?
But no, it hasn't been negative since 2005 until now.
Yeah, I know, but the economy's having a really hard time now. Like, we've burnt through $100,000 of slush fund money just running to the school. But I don't want to talk about me. Even the school that my daughter ended up going to, which was a children's centre down the road there where I was working, that's looking for kids. And they had a 2-year waiting list at the Santiago Community College. So for a school that had a 2-year waiting list to have a sign out saying that they've got room for kids is crazy.
Okay, you've covered a lot of things. I'd like to address something before we go.
I know, sorry, I do that.
Wait.
To do a survey, it's called a weighted survey. If you say, well, these people are underrepresented, so we're going to give them more of a say than those people. We represent the entire community. We're funded by the taxpayers in this area. Every taxpayer has an equal opportunity to say, I would like to see a community garden. I'd like to see an adult center. I'd like to see a craft center there. They have that opportunity. We're not going to say, well, you don't speak for the children. We need somebody that speaks for the children. This survey that we are talking about is an across-the-board community survey. And it's the only fair way to get a total representation of the community and what they want. Now, what the board does with it is separate. If we look at those numbers, or if we look at that input, we say, wait a minute, the community wants this, but we really can't do that for whatever reason, or we prefer to do this. We have that option. We're not obligated by that survey, but we are obligated to go to the community and ask them their opinion, because that's who we represent. So we can't just wait the survey and say, we just want these people with questions, we're not going to ask them.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Wait, could we have some other people talk?
Okay, Lisa, you had your hand up?
Well, I wanted to see, I mean, I know we're talking about demographically that the school can't handle, we just don't have the kids here.
That's what we're
Right, well, I mean, that's
pretty.
pretty much it. But I think we have to look at, what have we done to keep the kids out of here? I mean, as a community, we've done everything we can to stop development. But we don't want any houses here, we don't want anybody else moving here, we want to, we stop every development, but then we complain that we don't have kids for the down school, we don't have kids for the up school.
Red herring.
What does that mean?
No, don't respond to her, and don't do that again, please.
You're right. I'm sorry, my temper got the best of me. I owe you an apology, and I owe you an apology.
Thank you. That's why we love you. Okay, there's a lady in the back, and then you.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You were talking about a survey. Was it a survey that was already sent out?
No.
No. Okay, so it's something that you're thinking about.
Yes.
And you're going to do it by mailer. Is that
Yes.
correct? Are you going to also have it posted at the post office?
What do you mean posted?
Like, I think you should have the survey posted because, a lot of people get mail all the time. And to get the most out of the community, you need to have the survey.
A survey is like a vote. When you go in the voting booth, you get one vote. You don't get a vote in the voting booth and a vote at the pally and a vote at the post office.
No, but it's a notice of the vote.
Yeah, I think she was just saying a public awareness to look out for it in your box. That's
Well,
all
if
she's
you
saying.
have a mail, if you have mail in your box and you don't open it, I can't help that.
No, but, yeah. We know what you mean, and we do want to, we might actually
We'll
be.
send out an email.
We were actually talking about making phone
We
calls
might
to
actually
follow
call
up
the
to make
whole
sure we
community,
get.
did you send your thing in?
Karen,
Yes.
I want to answer that. His proposal is a proposal. It hasn't been voted on by this board to happen. It's a proposal
Who pays for that?
he's been talking about for a while.
What's
Thank
the cost?
you.
The board?
Thank you.
And we're not at that stage
Just
yet.
asking.
Well, we talked about it at the last SMRPD meeting.
Yeah.
That was-
What's the cost?
Does it have to be like a brochure? Could it be just a piece of paper? That's cheaper.
There's a company that does it.
Spreads like wildfire around here.
Are you guys at this point
But
open to
it's snail mail.
brainstorming ideas towards sustainability? Sustainability as a community collectively with the Children's Center, bringing the community in. I've heard a lot about a community garden. There's more than enough space for a Children's Center and a garden. We would love nothing more than to have members of the community come and plant apple trees and orange trees up along the road. And we can use that for our snacks. We don't have to buy any. They're organic. They're the best possible thing for the kids at the Children's Center to eat. Members from the community can come and collect that. We can have a farmer's market. We can build a chicken coop. We can put some sustainability in and invite community into the Children's Center and really work together and collaborate instead of it has to be only for the elderly, or it has to be only for the children, or it has to be only this way or that
No, we're
way.
not doing
No,
that.
no, we're talking about multiple use here. That's what, maybe you didn't hear that in my thing.
Multiple use is an option.
You know,
It's an option.
there are many options. We
Yes,
don't
we're
know.
open, the answer to your question.
Because I'm sure the Children's Center's open. We love when Connie comes and brings hay. We love when Marta comes and walks the goats and the pony with her dogs. And, Jane comes and she splits the hay up for us. And some of the older children that have outgrown the Children's Center come and clean the horse stall because they've missed the animals. We want you guys there. We want the community there. We want the kids there. We want it to thrive the way our community of here thrives. I mean, nobody wants this place to die out. Nobody wants the general store or the cafe to close because there's not enough people that can go. We want everybody to be welcome. We want it to be a family where everybody can come and thrive there and collect stuff and have takeaway where it's not just for the kids or just.
And to speak kind of to what Connie had mentioned and what you're talking about, if you guys don't come up with something, this is the horrible fate. So I don't want you all to be looking at us and saying, well, you guys figure it out, because we've been working on it and it's not, this is as good as it's gotten. So if there isn't I'm not going to speak for everybody, but if there isn't a groundswell that you guys say, because Joanne, you were saying, well, we can put together a whole committee. Well, dang you, it's been since September. Where's everybody been? I'm really tired, and I'm not tired. I'm just really mad that now you're here and going, oh, we're going to help you. I'm like, bring it on, because if without the help, it's not working. So before we end tonight, we need to be thinking about who wants to help, how is it going to help, and if nobody helps, we can see the writing on the wall. So Ron's been waiting a long time.
I want to challenge one assumption that we're all living under here, and that's that the demographics don't support this. And that demographic support is based on 50% participation. It's up to you guys. You guys are the ones in most passionate. Go out and make the percentage higher, and then the numbers will work.
We need, part of that question has got to be how many, well, I'll tell you, how many kids are in your household? How many kids do your neighbors have if we miss them? It's going to be how many horses there are, because we need to know how much space we have. It's going to be, there's going to be a lot in this survey. It's not just going to be Children's Center. We're going to spend the money on this. We're going to try to get who wants more trails, and not that it's all competing money, because some of that's easy to do. We just need to get, that's something that the board did before I got on. They did a whole survey of the community, and they came up with a bunch of different things to do.
But be careful, everybody wanted a swimming pool, and we're still answering why there isn't one.
Wait, let other people talk who haven't talked yet, who have their hands up.
Yeah, well, the urgency of the problem just came up in the last week or so.
Yeah.
So now, all of a sudden, this is the meeting to announce we got a big problem. We knew we had a problem. We knew it was a negative cash flow, but now it's critical.
We didn't know how big yet.
Yeah, we didn't know how big. Okay, so now we know that. I think that's good to have a meeting to let everyone know that. How long can the SMRPD shell out that $6,000 a month? What's the time frame that we're operating under? Is it 60 days or 6 months? When do we run out of money for real?
Well, we didn't go that far because that was really scary. I think we had a positive, because I've been going through all the financials last fiscal year, of like $20-some thousand. So out of let's assume we make 90. We spent 70 of it last year. So we're cheaper than the board before us because they spend all their money every year. So we've got some money, but we just don't have 70,000, because as much as we might like him or not, we got to pay Steve. We got to pay the lights. We got to.
Steve will take a pay cut.
We need. Shay and I were just out on the yard out here, and we're thinking this asphalt out here is getting to be, semi-dangerous. We need to be doing this asphalt and the basketball court asphalt and a few things in Majeska, but Majeska actually looked a lot better than we expected. So it's got, there's some money, but how much, we haven't gone that far, because that was like, we didn't get there yet, because we're like, holy smokes, look at what negative we are. That's why we're here tonight. So I don't know how much the board members would want to spend in. We'd already committed 12,000 and we're already at 18. You're not done yet, I'm sorry. Are you?
I am mostly. I think we beat this. We know everybody recognizes how urgent this is. I don't think we're ready to vote on closing it. I'm going to make a motion that we vote to fund study as a start. Give you guys a chance to go out and make stuff happen. We're going to send the survey out there, go out there and knock on doors and saying, we've got some young kids in my tract that have kids that aren't in the.
I've got, when she was reading the hours.
We weren't quite ready for you.
So, we all recognize how bad it is. Let's just go out and make it happen.
But yeah, Jeff, to speak to your point, we were a little worried when Linda and I last week thought it was 3,700 a month negative. Now we get this number and we're like, holy smokes. So we could do it, I would assume we can do, well, if we said, okay, today we're closing it, we're on the hook for at least 30 days, operating just like it is, because that's the rules. You have to give 30 days notice. It'd probably be another 30 days. We would keep all the employees just to tidy it up. So we're already looking at 60 days.
So it's safe to say we're on a 60-day plan?
Yeah, we're probably on a 60 days before we even want to say we're going to pull the plug. I mean, and maybe we can go a little farther than that, but something's got to happen, everybody, within a short window, because we can't do this forever.
Well, and when Linda was reading that report, even if she was saying like the preschool hours are at 9 o'clock. When I was working and sent my son to preschool, I had to get him this preschool before I got to work.
No, preschool starts at 7.
I know it's set that, but they really open at 7.
Oh, because I was saying, because there's no way, so.
We're open from 7 to 6.
If there's a need, usually it's accommodated at the children's center.
And how about like President's Weekend on Mondays? Like, were they open this last Monday for yesterday?
This coming Monday.
Well, and last Monday too, both Mondays the schools were out, were they open?
I don't know.
What I'm saying is there's things like that that teachers do that maybe would generate another day's pay if they're open last Monday and this Monday, and it would encourage people, well, so I can take them when school's open.
Kelly, were you guys open last Monday?
We were open last Monday. Our school goes with the Saddleback Valley Unified School District break schedule. So we are going to be closed Friday and Monday for the President's Week.
But don't you think if you wanted to give the community a service, all those working parents don't get Friday and Monday off, so that would be revenue for the school if they would be open, so that working parents will have some place to bring their children.
There's kind of a mixed bag on that, to be honest. A lot of parents look forward to the school break so that they can take a break with their kids and take time off and have that vacation time with their kids. So surprisingly enough, over the Christmas holiday, over the Thanksgiving holiday break, and over the holidays that we have scheduled off, they're really, when we do stay open,
I'm just talking about when I was a working parent, that would have helped.
Historically, being open on national holidays hasn't really worked out financially for the Children's Center. Why we ended up with a week closed between Christmas and New Year's, there were hardly any kids coming in. But, that service is great, you're right, but a lot of people don't take advantage of it.
I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Hi, Valerie. I'm Valerie Maldonado. My child, I feel so emotional now. Talking about it. My son went to the Children's Center when he was small, and we don't utilize it now because he's at a school that's farther away. So one of the things that I wanted to say before Debbie brought it up was that I would utilize the Children's Center if it were open on holidays. I'm a single parent, I work full-time, and I've called there multiple times
over the past few years to say, hey, are you gonna be open on President's Day? Because nobody else can take my child, and they're never open during the days that I need them.
No, if I may, that's a good point, and I think that
That's revenue.
what we're trying to do, and this is, again, I hate to keep talking about the survey, but the survey would ask that question. And by asking the question, you pose, people then become aware of it. They go, oh, they're open on, you know, and there's going to be a part of this survey that's going to have a question or a fill-in at the bottom. If you want to know more, if you want to get involved, fill out your name here. So it's more than just a question of the community, it's also, hey, come on, get involved, you've told us what you want to do, now give us your name and we'll work with you. So it's all positive, it's all good stuff that we're trying to do, but thank you for that input.
I have one more thing regarding that, not to stomp on your parade, but I think it's a good idea to learn what the community wants, but I also wanted to say that I feel it's the job of people in official capacity, yeah, to also recognize that, you know, like presidents before them, like if they had sent out a survey of what should we do with Yosemite National Park, and people wanted to build houses there, you know, people in power have to have the foresight of what's really good in the long run for a community, rather than just what are we wanting today right now.
As I said, we're not bound by the survey. The survey is only input to get the community aware of what we're trying to do, to pose some questions that'll kind of say, well, hey, that's an idea, yeah, I might like that. Also to ask them if they want to get involved. The board can then make a decision and say, here's what we're going to do based on the input or based on our feelings. We're not obligated to that, to the response. We're not locked in. You understand?
Yes, I just think you have to have foresight for a bigger picture.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
It's information that we're gonna use.
Yeah,
I just got a real quick comment. You're looking at a negative 6,100, that's given the facts you have now. I don't know when your anniversary date for your jail, your general liability is up. Typically, that's 100% due when it's presented. And also your workman's comp.
Our liability is covered under them, under us. So we already, it's just one big lump payment we make.
Yeah, but that, isn't that an added payment, or is it, it's already included in that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we got a great deal. In fact, we're gonna switch our work comp from state fund to our Capri because it drops our premium by 5,000 a year.
But that's included.
That's included in this number already.
Oh, that's right, okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a workman's comp claim made last year that might affect your moderate?
No, apparently not with Capri. That, as far as we know, but yeah, we haven't gotten there yet. Marcy?
You keep on saying that you have 20,000 left, sort of, somewhere. When do you get the new 90?
When's your budget?
Yeah, it rolls in, like,
What
everybody
month?
pays their taxes in December and April, so we get some money. Sometime after December, they send us money, and sometime after April, they send us money. And then when somebody pays theirs late, then we get a little money.
It's like little,
Yeah.
okay, adds up to maybe,
Somebody
okay.
step on it.
Yeah.
I was just referring to when somebody was saying how long can you keep the children's center afloat with the 20,000? So I thought I'll ask when is the new money coming in? Maybe you can keep it afloat longer with the new money.
It's kind of a whole year, and we already spend, so it gets to where we're gonna have to now sit down and say, here's what we spend the money on now, what can we pare back, and how long can we go? And that's, we haven't done that yet. That's be something we're doing next. Janet?
So I think there's a motion on the floor, or at least proposed, if not seconded, so I just wanted to comment on that motion.
Yeah, there hasn't been a motion that.
Oh, I thought Ron.
I called for the motion.
Okay, so I just wanted to comment on that, whatever the appropriate terminology is. I think that, when you said now people know about the emergency, I think a very small group of people in this room know about the emergency. So I would urge you guys, because you have taken the time to get this information together, to boil it down to that 6,100 or whatever, and send that out wide and have a fuller discussion at your next regular meeting, since you clearly, and I appreciate it, have the moral commitment to keep it going for at least another 60 days. I would like to know, she sort of asked it, but what, so I think I know what your total balance is and how much this survey is gonna cost, if it's gonna be pro bono through Tom, or a little bit more about the cost of that survey before it's done also. So, thank you.
Okay, so we're talking about the Children's Center. Okay, so I want to know if in the event that it is decided that the Children's Center is going to close, what's going to happen to the property? Is that also going to be disclosed on the survey? In the event of, which would you rather have?
Well, it may not be exclusive either. And we may not, some of the survey question isn't just gonna be about that, it's the whole, you're gonna ask whole district questions. Who wants more trails going this way or that way, or who wants a better water fountain at the end of the canyon, or, you know, so it's not just that. And, but yeah, it may be that will be part of the questions is, if this happens, what would you like to see there? Or what don't we offer? Maybe we won't want to say that nasty, but what do we need to offer you? Then, so we don't even know all our questions yet. That's part of where we're going.
And so it is definitely going to be in the mailer.
That appears to be the best.
I think we should go green as a community.
Yeah, I don't.
Email, I think, and then, you know what? You can send it to the people that signed up, and they can send it to other community members that aren't about the mail or aren't about different things. It's getting the word out in the community.
We have to go with the standard of practice.
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta go with what.
So what's the cost?
Yeah,
The question's unanswered.
what's the cost?
The
There isn't a
antiquated
motion
style,
yet. We
you
shouldn't even
mean?
be talking about it. Will you sit down, please?
No, I can stand up if I want to, okay? It's
You're
been a
blocking
long
that
day
guy
sitting.
behind you.
Can you please provide information about the cost of this survey, the potential cost
Before
of
you vote
the
on it.
survey?
Calling for a motion.
Before you
You
vote
don't
on
have to
it?
call for a motion, you can just give us information. If
He
you've
means
sought
he wants-
different companies.
He means he wants to make the motion.
Oh, well, okay.
Motion.
That's what he meant
So
to
help me
say.
word it here, but in fact, Tom, since you have the number there, I think you ought.
Well, the survey is done by an independent company, and the reason why, it's called Carson Marketing in Santa Ana. We don't want any of us involved in the survey, because we don't want to taint the survey. Oh, that's a survey from Greg or from Ron or from Tom. The survey will be a direct mail survey. It'll have a self-addressed envelope. It'll be keyed so that you can't be duplicated. In other words, you can't go to the copy machine, send out 10 of them and put them in the thing. They're gonna be all coded. It's gonna be multiple choice. There's gonna be some write-in. It'll be multiple questions about the community, about what people want. Some of the questions Greg has mentioned. The board will work with the marketing company to develop the survey. The cost of the survey, which includes the printing, the mailing, the postage, and the whole thing, which is very reasonable, and Linda will vouch for this, is $7,500.
That is not reasonable.
47.
Wow, we can put it towards the
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I thought it was 4,700.
I'm sorry, 47. I'm just, $4,700.
Thank you. So how is the company picked?
Why is it so antiquated?
I mean, is it by bid? Could you get it done for less or pro bono for a
We went through
nonprofit?
this last time.
I'm
and
sorry?
We went through the same
Okay,
question last
sorry.
time, and others said,
They wouldn't even
give
talk
us some,
to us.
I'm sorry, what?
we said, give us some alternatives, and we never got any, so we're gonna go.
So
Well, it
how'd
should
you
be the
get this
board
company? I'm
to
wondering,
get
by
three.
advertising or by somebody knowing
We just
somebody?
talked-
Phone
Okay.
calls, right? Phone calls?
The company, I'm familiar with this company, I've worked with them in the past. They do marketing surveys, they're an independent marketing company. They will meet with the board independently. It's not going through me. I've already talked to the guy and said, here's what we're trying to do, can you do this? He gave us a good price. I
Okay.
talked to the board and they said, yeah, we kinda like what's going on here. So we do have a proposal from this company, and they're gonna do now the thing about the mail survey, it's a quick thing. Once we come up with the questions and determine what we're gonna ask, it mails out, we give them a couple of weeks, it comes back. It's not an ongoing thing, and then it's compiled, and then the Carson Company people will come in and make a presentation and say, here's our findings, and here's what the community wants, and this is what we recommend. And then from there on, the board can take it and do whatever we want with it.
And let me quickly, Linda and I both have experience with polling companies in our past, and given what we're asking, this is a really good price. Without going out for a formal bid, this is like.
And Tom did ask other people, and they just said, no, we
Oh,
won't
they
do
said
that.
they wouldn't even talk to us.
They laughed.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
It's
right.
too small, and
Small.
there's not enough money. They do $20,000, $100,000 surveys, they wouldn't even talk. So,
Joanne.
I would like to know where it's going and how many households we're talking about.
it's
What
going to
cities and how many
every
households?
mailing address
Where?
In here.
in
the district.
In the district.
92676.
And their zip code?
Yes.
Post office box and.
That doesn't
and
include
district.
Tribuco, if you do that.
No,
No, no,
Tribune.
no.
Our-
it's
Our,
just the
our
92676.
district isn't funded by Tribuco.
We'd like it to be, but it's not.
Okay, so,
You have a motion.
anybody got questions on motion?
You want me to make the motion?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion that the board approves the Carson Marketing Survey for a fee of $4,700.
I second.
Okay.
Roll call, any more discussion?
Do we need to have a public discussion?
I think they pretty much talked themselves out, okay?
No, you have to ask for
I
public
have to
comment.
ask
You have to
for
ask for
it.
it.
I'd like to know,
It's an ongoing
having
issue.
some marketing experience with this, what does this company expect, what's the percentage back of envelopes that they're gonna get, is it a?
We don't know,
Well-
and that's an indicator into itself. If you only get a small percentage, that means people aren't interested.
But a good percentage, there are statistics for good percentages returned, and a good percentage is anywhere from 11 to 18%.
So what's the benefit of spending so much on it if that's the only return that you're gonna get?
Because that's considered a good return.
Alls I know is that in this canyon, since I moved here, it's been word of mouth. If you get the community by word of mouth, you get a meeting and you have a vote
Okay.
by community members. I think that would be your survey right there, save a bunch of money.
Okay, thank you.
Put it towards the community center and children's
Ye-
center.
Does everyone want to say aye to
Yeah, we need to. Any more?
Wait, I have one
Yeah,
question. The previous survey done by this board was written by the board and sent out to mailers. Is there just no possibility of us?
Do you have the smarts to do it?
No, I do not.
I do not.
I don't.
I have to pose that question because
Good
there's
Okay, so
question.
everybody hear
a
that?
group of
The
people
board,
that would.
tell them again. Tell them louder.
Oh, there was a previous mailer that went out a survey years ago by this board, written by this board, and worded by this board. I was really super thrilled with the way that it was worded, but then mailed out to.
That's not us. She's talking about
I'm talking
before
about a
us.
previous board, a couple boards back. And then they mailed it out, so I know it would be a more cost effective, but I don't know about,
So I asked her if she had the expertise to do that, and she agreed she didn't, and I don't, and Tom doesn't want to, because he wants to keep, like he said, so,
Well, there is a way to do it so that you're not
Okay.
taking the question.
yes?
Me? So, thank you for all the information. I am very nervous about this survey, I have to say, and I think it could backfire or leave people disquieted for exactly the reasons that Shay just mentioned with the last one. So I do think if it was a little clearer what you were gonna be asking in terms of the questions, and you got some input from, yes, granted, always the small vocal minority that shows up at the meetings, you could be doing yourselves as well as the community a favor. So that's what makes me nervous
We could have
about
a,
it.
we could have a subcommittee meeting one night and go over